What's up, guys? It's Beyond. I'm back with another video. I've got two videos I got to get done tonight. This and my Summerslam predictions, because I got to get them done before I go to bed. So, with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump straight into this. Week 4, Road to Revenge, the Alexa Charlotte story, SummerSlam. So, sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on future videos and streams. Use code ANJJ for $5 off orders of $30 or more at Circuit Diecast. And let's jump into this. So, we kick things off with week 1. And here's your Bianca Belair Raw Women's Championship update. Her and Rhea face each other at Money in the Bank. Rhea looks to have the match won, but Liv interferes, costing Rhea the match since Rhea took away their tag team in favor of joining the Judgment Day. Liv is still incensed about it. This reignites the Liv-Rhea feud, and as you will see at the beginning of future videos, it puts a big spotlight on not just them, but also the Raw Women's Championship, as Liv wants that as well. Excuse me, my apologies. So, you'll see how that plays out in future videos. On Raw, Alexa has an in-ring Alexa's Playground segment. Lily's on the swing beside her, accompanied by her own little Money in the Bank briefcase. Becky and Bayley stand behind Alexa, and their appearance has further been adapted towards Alexa's style without completely switching over. They still have elements of their own styles. Alexa giggles as she begins by saying, "I told you it would happen. I'm now the first two-time Women's Money in the Bank champion. No, Carmella did not win it twice. James Ellsworth won it for the first time. Don't fucking at me. You know I'm right." Anyway. And as you can see, Lily gets to hold a little briefcase of her own. She smiles and then says, "It feels so good to have this again, to know I am guaranteed a title shot whenever I'd like on the champion of my choice. And I already know whose championship title I want over my shoulder. It's only a matter of time before they find out." Her smile turns a bit evil as she looks dead on into the camera and says, "To my 7 opponents, Money in the Bank, your biggest mistake was letting me get this briefcase. The first phase of the new era of Bliss has been completed, and the second phase won't be far behind. I'm getting what I rightfully deserve, and if you know what is good for you, you will stand by and stay out of my way or let me in." Her smile gets a bit bigger, and then she says, "Or you can foolishly attempt to fight, only to find that you will fail." She laughs afterward, then holds the briefcase up to the camera, keeping her devious smile as the screen fades. On SmackDown, Sasha Banks and Naomi open the show, still smiling despite the loss to Katana Chance and Kaden Carter at Money in the Bank. Sasha opened by congratulating Katana and Kaden on their victory over them, saying it was an honor and privilege to get to face an amazing duo. Naomi nods in agreement and adds that they hope to face the current NXT Tag Team Champions again one day. As far as why they aren't upset about losing, Naomi says that her and Sasha wanted to shine a spotlight on the women of NXT in a big way and reiterates that honor and privilege. And as Sasha then begins to speak about what their plans are next, Charlotte Flair makes her return. And Sasha rhetorically says, "Well, look who's back." To which Charlotte says, "Indeed, Sasha, I am back. And quite frankly, truth be told, it feels like no one really cared that I was gone. What's up with that?" Sasha and Naomi glance at each other, and then Naomi looks at Charlotte and says, "Well, you weren't here, so why should people care? Especially when the tag team champions are running SmackDown." They then hold up their tag team titles, and Charlotte shakes her head and scoffs. "You two running SmackDown? Seriously?" Sasha responds, "Yeah, we have been running the show here, and we will continue to do so even with you around." Charlotte laughs and replies, "You are out of your mind. The SmackDown Women's Champion runs the show, not the tag team champions. And now that I am back, I will be rightfully retaking my place at the top, whether you like it or not. Regardless of what you have done, you are still beneath me." She then holds up her championship title while Sasha and Naomi continue to hold up theirs, staring each other down. And mere seconds later, the lights flash, then go out, and then come back up with Alexa, Becky, and Bayley standing at the entranceway, Alexa holding Lily and the briefcase. She hands Lily to Becky, who in return hands her a mic, and Alexa says, or sorry, I should say Charlotte says, "And what the hell are you doing here?" To which Alexa gives her signature smirk and replies, "Sorry to interrupt, but I have a little announcement of my own to make." She then walks down to the ring and enters standing across from the champs, standing directly in front of Charlotte. "Charlotte Flair, we've faced each other one-on-one only twice before," she begins to say before Flair cuts her off by saying, "And I won both times. What's your point?" Alexa, keeping her smile despite the anger behind it, says, "The point is that come SummerSlam, you won't stay undefeated against me." Holding up the Money in the Bank briefcase, she then says, "I am cashing in my Money in the Bank contract for a SmackDown women's title match at SummerSlam," to which the crowd roars in approval. Charlotte replies, "Is that right? I guess I haven't beaten you enough. So at SummerSlam, I'll be putting you away for good." The crowd boos Charlotte, and Alexa responds, "We'll see about that," before exiting the ring. But she stops at the apron, turns and looks at Sasha and Naomi and says, "Oh, one more thing. Sasha, Naomi, I hadn't forgotten about you. At SummerSlam, you'll be defending your tag team titles against Becky and Bayley." The crowd goes nuts as the tag team champs look on in shock. Alexa walks back up to Bayley and Becky, waves to Charlotte, and then Sasha and Naomi, and they leave. So, the following week, on Raw, Becky and Bayley have a match against Dana and Tamina. It's a 4-minute squash match, essentially, but the main thing is Alexa, keeping her happy self going, is on commentary for it, talking about Sasha and Naomi in regard to Becky and Bayley. And in that regard, after the match, Sasha and Naomi come out staring down the SummerSlam challengers. But when they get in the ring, Bayley and Becky pay specific attention to Sasha, not really paying much attention to Naomi. And when Naomi tries to intervene, she gets pushed away. Alexa walks by, Becky and Bayley follow, and Alexa merely smiles and waves as the camera fades. On SmackDown, Charlotte comes out and cuts a promo on Alexa, particularly comparing their Survivor Series champ versus champ match to the last year's to last year's match at Extreme Rules. "The Alexa that I saw last year, I thought I finished you off. I ripped that stupid doll apart. I pinned you, became the first person to pin you since that stupid clown got a hold of you." That is me referencing The Fiend and how I would think Charlotte would say it, because you're not directly referring to The Fiend, but you kind of are. Anyway, "I pinned you, you left for therapy, and yet that could not change you one little bit. It couldn't break you from this monstrosity of an ideology that you possess, that has possessed you. You've gotten worse since then. The Alexa Bliss, the real Alexa Bliss that I faced at Survivor Series, is a distant memory. But that's the Alexa that I want back. And if I have to beat you again to get the real you back, then you have booked your own funeral. But don't worry, it won't be a day of tears. It will be a day of cheers, because I will do what needs to be done to bring Alexa Bliss back. Give me the Mrs. 5 Feet of Fury." Basically, that's how the promo ends. So Charlotte is amped up about this. The following week, on Raw, Alexa responds to Charlotte's promo from the week prior. She opens speaking completely in serious tone by saying, "The threats you make, Charlotte, are nothing more than cries for relevance. But you're the champion. You've been champion multiple times over. What more relevance do you need? Everything gets handed to you because you're a Flair, while the rest of us aren't. I asked last fall what you would be without a title, and that is yet to be answered. But at SummerSlam, the answer to that question will finally begin to be answered when I not only beat you, but destroy you. But I don't want to just beat you. I want to show everyone what happens when a Flair gets humiliated. She then laughs and says, I mean, when did your dad ever have to deal with being humiliated by someone other than himself? You know she's speaking facts. And you, Charlotte, when have you truly faced your own career's mortality? What have you ever faced the possibility that one day you would be put in a position where you could be removed from wrestling? Something your father will never understand, but something that I will make you understand. She laughs again, then looks directly into the camera and says, you better be careful, Charlotte. All that karma from your past, it may come back to haunt you down the road. And if anyone has the power to initiate that karma, that person is me. I'm taking your title and eventually more than just that. She chuckles more, or sorry, let me finish. She finishes off by saying, just look at Becky and Bailey. She chuckles more as the lights flicker some, and then the screen fades out. On SmackDown, Sasha and Naomi open with a match against Aliyah and Natalya. While they do get the win, Becky and Bailey run interference, particularly by removing Sasha from the apron before Naomi could tag her, and prevented Sasha from returning to the ring until Naomi came out and shoved them away, managing to not get counted out in the process and also not get DQ'd. Even after the match, Becky and Bailey shoved Naomi out of the ring, keeping their focus on Sasha. Commentary wonders why they're so focused on Banks, who gets away from the duo. Later on, Charlotte addresses Alexa's response, laughing at the idea that her career will ever be in any sort of danger, scoffing at the idea of Alexa beating her, and also scoffing at the remarks that Alexa made towards her father, Rick. And Charlotte reiterates that she is undefeated against Bliss. The only person that should be careful is you, Alexa. If you want to keep doing this stupid shtick of yours, you should have cashed in on Bianca over there on Raw, because no one is more determined than me to bring the real you back. That's how she finishes off. And then we get to week 4. Reminder, only 4 weeks of build-up here. The final week before SummerSlam. On Raw, Alexa, Becky, and Bailey come out to the ring, opening the show with Becky and Bailey sitting on the turnbuckles behind Alexa. The week has come, SummerSlam is almost here, and I'm more than prepared to show Charlotte Flair what will happen when she faces me. And automatically, Charlotte comes out, accompanied by Sasha and Naomi. And the set of trios verbally attack each other, taking shots at each other, particularly Charlotte taking shots at Alexa and vice versa. But Charlotte, Naomi, and Sasha stay on the outside. To which at one point Alexa, despite her taunting, decides, you know what? If you won't enter the ring, she snaps her fingers, causing the lights to go out. They come back up, and Becky and Bailey have appeared behind Sasha and Naomi. Then why don't my friends come straight to you? She laughs as Becky and Bailey attack Sasha and Naomi, which causes Charlotte to run into the ring, where she is face to face with Alexa. Alexa ditches the mic, grabs Charlotte, brings her to the center of the ring, and hits Sister Abigail. The first time we've seen the move in quite some time. That's when you know shit's gonna get serious. Only thing that we see on SmackDown is Charlotte addressing what Alexa did in a backstage thing, saying she won't get the chance to do it again at SummerSlam. Yeah, that's not going to age very well for you. So, we get to SummerSlam. Sasha and Naomi versus Becky and Bailey happens early in the show. Much like with the build-up, Becky and Bailey primarily focus on Sasha keeping Naomi away. However, Naomi keeps getting involved, breaking things up when she can and taking down the competitors. This allows Sasha to make a comeback and get offense in, as does Naomi, and it seems like the tag champs at points in time are going to retain All this does, though, is it angers Becky and Bayley because they see Naomi as a problem. They see her as someone who needs to be removed from the situation so that they can maintain their focus on Sasha. And as such, Sasha eventually is dumped out of the ring. Bayley follows her to prevent her from re-entering the ring, and Becky takes out Naomi with the manhandle slam to win the match and get her and Bayley the tag titles. Sasha gets up on the apron and looks to enter the ring to tend to Naomi, but instead, Becky and Bayley attack Naomi further, leaving her laying out in the center of the ring and having to be stretchered out and effectively written off of TV for a long while. She will come back later on. It won't be to be with Sasha, though. Best bet would be she comes back with a whole new attitude and probably joins the Bloodline, honestly. So you can figure that one out from there. But that's what happens. Sasha is left horrified at what happened to her tag partner, and Becky and Bayley corner her for a short moment before heading to the back, opposing that dominance and saying, "We're not done with you." So, then the third to last match of the night is Alexa versus Charlotte. Alexa enters with a modified version of her Extreme Rules gear, so it's part that, part new gear. And the match opens, and Alexa takes the fight straight to Flair, not willing to let up. Charlotte wanted 5 feet of Fury Bliss. She's getting it, but with a whole new fucking attitude. Charlotte fights back, but Alexa fights back harder. Charlotte spends part of the match dissing out most of the offense and gaining momentum, but Alexa fires back and dumps her out of the ring, taking the fight to her on the outside. This happens a few times, but where it really hits is later on in the match, and here's why. Charlotte, at one point, clears the announce desk. They keep fighting each other. Then Charlotte gets into a situation where she gets Alexa on top of the table and looks to hit one sort of move or another. But instead, Alexa puts her in position for Sister Abigail, hits it, and as Charlotte's laid out on the table, Alexa then climbs up onto the turnbuckle and dives onto Charlotte's prone body on the table, which then breaks as a result. Then Alexa gets back into the ring. So just Alexa just powering through everything and just showcasing how freaking insane she can be. Hitting Twisted Bliss on the table, then diving on top of Charlotte, breaking the table, and all of that is just, it's mind-boggling. Charlotte manages to get back over the ring so she doesn't get counted out, but she struggles to get back in, and Alexa helps her back in by dragging her into the ring, center of the ring that is, then hits Sister Abigail again, positions her, then climbs up onto the turnbuckle, hits Twisted Bliss, and then pins Charlotte to win in a close to 20-minute match. Alexa stands in the center of the ring, holding up the SmackDown Women's title, and just the crowd goes nuts, roaring in approval. Alexa screams in victory, and Charlotte sits on the outside as Alexa looks down at her and taunts her with the belt. I know this wasn't as long of a video as the previous ones. It's not as loaded, but that's okay, because there's plenty more to come in the future. This is only the beginning of the true grit, the true beef of this story. So with all that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to tune in for the Summerslam predictions coming up shortly. And I'll catch you all next time. Peace.